Welcome back to the shed, everybody. After a long absence, we're back in here making history, talking about history. Not least of which is going cycling in France. We'll talk about RJ's historic appearance in the World International Table Soccer Federation tournament in, where was it? Zaragoza, in which they garnered Canada's first ever medal in world competition for table soccer, the bronze, senior men's. Pretty sure we better get those Shed Dogs t-shirts turned out pretty soon, so his official picture there has him in a Shed Dogs t-shirt. Speaking of which, that's who we are. Hang around, we're going to have a bunch of fun. Here we go.
I'd like to welcome the world travelers back to the shed. It's been months and months since we've been here, and finally everybody's back in the big smoke. Hallelujah, and welcome home, boys.
It's nice to be back in the small town. It feels cozy, having, seen the world now.
Let's get your trip report there, PJ.
All right. I went to France. That's how you have to say it. If you say France, you're just so pretentious. It's just ridiculous.
France.
And if you say France, it sounds like you're just ignorant. So you say France so everybody knows you're, being funny.
So you went to France. And in summary?
I'm almost ready to go there.
Really?
Yeah, because I was telling Moby earlier, I don't think anybody really cares about all the stupid details. I have a couple little anecdotes, but that's about it.
Okay. So you went to France, which you want to call France,
yeah,
which must be, I'm just guessing it was a Simpsons reference.
No, it's just some stupid thing.
Okay.
Anyway, yeah, I went to France. We rode from the Normandy beaches to Nice, which is by Marseille.
And when you say we rode, just for our listeners, that's not on motorcycles.
No, we bicycled. 1,410, I think, kilometers, plus 40 kilometers of trial ride the day before in 14 days. And it was a lot. And so, we saw, I just want listeners to know that there is some really terrific natural scenery in southern France that I had no idea existed. It's like their version of the Grand Canyon. There's these canyons, Ardèche region and another one I can't remember. Did not know they were there. Super duper fabulous. My other thing to report is I'm too old, I think, for that arduous bike trip because I struggled pretty much the whole way. Other trips I've done like this, you get this sense of accomplishment when you go up the big mountain. That's the highlight part of the trip. Well, this time we went up the big mountain. That's the tour went up there just the other day. It's Mont Ventoux.
It's a Tour de France.
Yes, Tour de France. And all I felt when I got to the top was, thank God that's done. Not like, I feel so great because I conquered. Nope. Just, I'm sure glad that's over because it was horrible. The other thing I need to report, French food, without any argument, is much better than the food in Britain. Because we spent a week in Britain before we went over to France, and it was like night and day. The day you landed in France and ate your first meal, it was way better than all the meals you ate in Britain. Fruit and vegetables are just better in France. I don't know whether they are way better at preparing them, but the ingredients themselves to me seem to be much tastier than the ones in Britain. Sorry, Britain. Love you guys, but man.
I think France just cares more. I just get the feeling that Britain doesn't care as much about
it. Could be.
Exactly.
It could be that. I honestly didn't know, but it was really noticeable. And yeah, the trip, lots of history, lots of sweat, lots of cows and hay, some very nice people. Shout out here to the ladies of Kent. These three women who are actually from London, but they did their riding in the hills of Kent. And
soon to be listeners?
Yeah, maybe listening now. I gave out cards, boys. 5 cards to people who expressed interest.
Nice.
What's our conversion rate?
Oh, I don't know.
1 in 5, maybe. We might have another listener. Maybe they're all together having wine.
Rosé.
And listening. Yeah.
That'd be Sophie and Catherine and Juliet.
Cheers,
and
ladies.
They were a lot of fun. They really were.
Here's to the ladies of Kent.
This was the first thing. And the ladies of Kent thing. So first day, I cramp like crazy, right? Of course I'm not prepared enough. So I'm walking up this hill, wondering if I'm going to, because my other leg starts to cramp as soon as I start walking. And I'm just thinking, this is great. First of 14 days, I'm already walking. And these 3 women ride by. They've been behind me, but now they've caught up. And the last of them goes, the ladies of Kent, as she rides by. And I thought, I didn't know whether she was giving me the bird, or whether it was a little joke, so I just referred to them from then on as the ladies of Kent. They were a lot of fun, really a lot of fun. And I got to swim in the Mediterranean. which was excellent. And that's about the sum of my... Oh, we went up this big mountain, Mont Ventoux, where the tour goes, and 3 days before we went, some guy dropped dead of a heart attack at the bottom of it.
What PJ refers to as the Tour, of course, is the Tour de France.
Tour de France, sorry, thank you. And 5 days before I went, somebody was killed going down it, which...
Driving too fast.
Riding too fast. And it's windy up there, and if you have wind, crosswind, and sudden oncoming traffic around a corner and you're going too fast, real bad combo.
Bad combo.
Oh, and that was another thing. On our group, there was a guy who was a very strong rider, Australian guy, pretty good guy, but really a strong rider. And I guess he was bored one day doing a big long climb, and he decided he would come down and do it again. So he's coming down really fast, like an estimated 80 clicks, and a butterfly gets under his glasses, hits his face and gets under his glasses. And he goes to wipe it away, and he wipes his glasses off his face, slams on the brakes, goes off the road at an estimated 60 clicks.
Oh, my God.
Just kadunka, kadunka. I don't know how he didn't die. I honestly don't know how. I didn't see it. I was nearby, but I didn't see it. He broke 4 ribs, broke his clavicle, smashed his helmet, so he probably had a concussion.
Oh, so that was it for the tour for him.
And that was it for the tour for him. Yeah, I mean, man, oh man, he's so... Because those roads, honest, this will be almost the last thing, but a lot of the secondary roads in France don't have crash guards, barriers. It's just, you ride along the edge and look down 40 feet to the next thing that you would hit if you went over.
It's like all the riverbanks there, where it just goes straight down or close to straight down into the river.
Yeah.
You just sit on the edge there, and if you're not careful,
Yeah, and if you sneeze at the wrong moment, you conceivably... Anyway, that guy, he showed up for the last day. He was discharged from hospital by the last day of the ride, but I can't believe he didn't die.
That guy's accident gives a whole new meaning to the term butterfly effect.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, his brother was on the tour too. Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. I didn't really perceive that one. His brother was on the tour, and his brother's name was Mark. And so it's just Mac.
Mac. And Mac, they had different personalities, I believe. These two.
Mark was really quiet. You couldn't wedge a word out of him, just pry it out. And so one day, for example, he doesn't say much. We're just sitting around someplace having lunch or whatever we're doing. And one of those ladies of Kent was talking about this really strong rider guy. Well, he was still riding.
Yeah.
She's saying, sometimes he goes flying by me up those hills, and I just want to punch him. And Mark just happens to be walking by the table at that moment, and without missing a beat, he just says, "Feel free." Anyway, it was a lot of fun. I was quite glad to get back home because I was just trashed. Heat, highly intense. It was in the high 30s, low 40s for a lot.
Low 40s. That's insane.
It's really a lot.
Remember when it was a heat dome here, it was 40.
Yeah. So and we're out there climbing 1,400 and 1,900 meters in a day, riding 120 kilometers. We're too old for that. My thought was Peak Tours, who are the very excellent organizers and hosts of this thing, must be very strong believers in the power of the liability waiver, because they're getting us to ride on these days. They're setting the schedule, and there is a pace you got to keep if you're going to just finish the ride in that day. One day we ran out of water in the middle of nowhere. We hadn't been able to tank up. Too old for that. So if I do another one of these, it will be an easier, a less intense.
What was the age distribution on this?
It went all the way from, I would say, at only a guess, I would say the mid-40s to the mid-70s. So okay. I was among the 5 or 6 slowest riders, and there was 2 or 3 of those were older than me. There's guys that were 70, 74, 77. But there was a lot of pretty strong riders, a bunch of Australian guys who were really strong riders. And I mean, like I said, lots of fun, saw lots of things. The heat was a killer, but next one I do will just be easier, that's all. Lots of good people, lots of good food, too hot. The end. That's it. That's my whole report.
All right. I mean, we were watching the pictures that you posted from time to time, and it just looked amazing.
There was a lot of, like I said, there's some natural beauty in France I just hadn't even imagined existed. I just didn't know. I'm totally ignorant.
Yeah, I was surprised at all the cornfields and vegetables. This must go to the freshness of the fruits and everything. They grow a lot of stuff in France.
Yeah. The breakfasts, they're not too super great on breakfast. There's a lot of bread, but they're super great on
coffee
lunch.
and a croissant, right?
Yeah, super great on lunch and dinner, though.
Yeah.
Really, really good food. Well, I lost some weight, but by now I've gained most of it back, I think. And you, RJ, you were in Barcelona.
We were in Portugal and Spain. Barcelona, exactly.
Portugal. Did you spend time in Lisbon?
We were in Lisboa so Sue came. I was going to the big foosball tournament, and Sue came for the first 15 days, but she realized pretty early in that hanging out at the foosball tournament was going to be long periods of tedium with very narrow periods of excitement. So she flew home at the end of our little vacation. But for our vacation, we went to 3 locations. Went to Lisboa. Who said that? Lisboa?
I did.
Yeah, so Lisbon, biggest city in Portugal, of course. Got a huge amount of history, all the discoverers that come out of there and all that colonization they did.
Brutal murder.
Well, that's right. Portugal was one of the biggest powers at the time because of ships.
They were.
Huge. Vasco da Gama.
See.
They were way ahead in navigation, I think.
Magellan. Yeah, Magellan. He was the first to, come on, you guys.
Circumnavigate the globe.
That's it.
Thank you.
Skinny. Finger on the pulse.
Anyway, Lisbon's really cool. We loved our little hotel there. It was not super expensive, but it had perfect air conditioning and everything about it we just loved it.
And was it stinking hot there too?
Pretty hot, but not stinking hot. I think the highs would be like 28 to 32, maybe, sometimes cooler.
Those would have been good, perfect days.
Yeah, and they are good, perfect days. Like we'd be out for walks and we wouldn't be just, you get used to it kind of thing. But yeah, lots of walking, lots of restaurants everywhere, pretty good food. And so that's Lisbon. We did 5 nights there. And then talking to Glenn of Victoria, Glenn of Oak Bay, actually, he was saying, okay, well, not saying you need to go anywhere, but, Porto's way better than Lisbon. And so that's pretty well true. I mean, Lisbon was great anyway, but Porto was even more amazing, different.
I just need to ask you about Lisbon. Did you get flagged down and eat in any restaurant?
Yeah.
Where a guy was out in the street with a laminated menu?
Yes.
Okay, because Not a Listener and I have decided those are the places you must avoid.
Yeah, you pretty well should avoid those. We ate at one of those in Barcelona as well, and that was a mistake largely. Yeah, like I was there, they had a picture of a mojito. So I ordered a mojito, right? The guy goes, oh, yeah, well, I'll have my guy back there do it. And I got the sense that the guy was a junior guy. He's a starter, basically. So he brings me the mojito, and there's no mint, right? It's cilantro.
Oh, my God.
That's a major, horrid blunder.
And his English is not good, and I have 0 Portuguese, but I'm going, but no mint, And so he takes it back. I'll make it myself. And, of course, he's busy. Because he's busy waving people in and doing the scurrying about, and it's like 20 minutes later I get my mojito, and it does have mint in it, and it's fine and good enough. But
God, I gotta say,
but everything's fun because it's new and it's different, and you take that stuff. I never get. I did send it back, but not in a huff.
Yeah, I've spent 2 years joking about laminated menus. I had one overpriced, undersatisfactory meal, and now I get to joke about laminated menus for the rest of my life. Pretty good, really.
We rode a funicular. We did. We went to the Castle de Saint George, which is Georges. I think they pronounce their J's and G's, but I'm not sure. It was fantastic. Old castle where they're telling me, the audio guides telling me all about the moat and giving me all these shocking facts and guides me through. I conquer the castle. That's the way the audio tour works.
Oh.
Yeah. And then at the very end, they say, of course, nobody ever really did conquer this castle, but let's say that you did.
Yeah.
And what they did do, though, is the classic siege, conquer through attrition. They never made it in there. They just wouldn't let any food or drink in. So eventually they had to
Oh, they did cave then, eh?
Cave, yeah. Yeah. Porto's just as old. It's beautiful, both in Lisbon and Porto. There's all this super old stuff, but you read the fine print and it's, we rebuilt this after it tumbled in the earthquake, especially Lisbon, 1755, all the beautiful old buildings. There's a lovely church called the Convent of Carmo, and I guess it was a convent, but it was, those rock walls are still standing. Like everything inside just tumbled down, but I guess the walls were... And these are super tall walls with nothing apparently supporting them. So they're just standing. I guess they must have been driven way deep into the earth.
Or there's just enough, they're big enough blocks that they could kind of do like a Jenga tower and not fall down. Like they would flex, but not. I thought Porto got away pretty much scot-free in that big earthquake.
Yeah, it did get better. But I mean, even the Palace of Pena up at the top of Sintra there, even that one had a lot of damage. It was a monastery, and all it was left was the cloisters. Because I guess they have so much support, all those supports everywhere.
Yeah.
But
But this was 1755 was the earthquake?
Yep.
Oh.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
but in the north half of the country, there's way more pre-1755 history still visible and in the south half of the country.
Yeah. And all this stuff about the Portuguese tiles, I didn't really understand.
I don't either. They're everywhere.
I just assumed that, I knew that the Portuguese were good at making tiles. I knew that part. I just assumed they had really nice bathrooms.
Yeah.
And nice floors, kitchen floors. I didn't realize that so many buildings have tile exteriors.
Yeah.
And they're just beautiful.
Oh.
And the classic ones are called azulejos or azulejos. I'm not sure which. But azul is from azure, and lejo is from, I think, tile, maybe.
Don't know. But
ceramic. And so basically they're this really distinctive blue tile. You can't miss it once you see it. It's everywhere. And often they'll take tiles and then paint a scene on them in this blue paint. Just really nice. And they do date back. They were actually yet another one of the many things taken from the Moors being the Muslims who conquered most of Portugal and parts of Spain.
Yeah.
And even though the European types had to throw them out and had big battles, they still appreciated their architecture. So they would build stuff with the Moorish entrances and all that ornate kind of gingerbready kind of stuff. And the Moors had the tiles. So that's where those tiles originally came from.
The whole thing with tiles, though, is just as incomprehensible to me as why they're
pretty.
They're so big on, what are those little fish called?
Oh, sardines.
Like in Portugal, in the big cities, wherever tourists go, they have these stores that sell a million different flavors of sardines.
Yeah.
And it seems to be a point of national pride that they have the world's largest array of sardine flavors. And I'm just thinking, what is going on with you guys?
Portugal probably would have been a pretty poor place if they didn't have sardines. I mean, that was a huge part of their industry.
Was it?
It's definitely in the 20th century and going back to the 18th century is the fisheries and the sardines, because you could ship them all over the world once they figured out that whole tinning thing.
Yeah.
It was just, it was their number one industry.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah, so like in the Second World War and probably the First World War, women got employed. The men were gone. Right now the families don't have a source of income, and the women were just all working tinning and doing all this stuff. So yeah, they make a big deal out of the sardines, and you have to eat sardines when you're there. That's what I believe.
I didn't have to.
I was told you got to eat the sardines, and I was really looking forward to it. And I asked the person who told me, well, so do I have to take the bones out? And she goes, I don't remember, but it sure is good. So on our very last night in Porto, it's our last chance. We're in Portugal last night. I order the sardines. They're grilled sardines. You get 3, and these are big sardines. They're not the little tinned ones.
Yeah.
These ones are about 12 inches long.
Oh.
11 inches, I'd say. And then, so they're just laid out there. When I ordered them, I said, so do I have to separate the bones out? And she laughed. She goes, no, right? She doesn't speak English, really. And then I get served them. So I'm going, so I just eat them, right? And she goes, she just gasps like, no, you got to take the bones out, right? I'm going, oh, great.
See, that was another thing. I didn't know. I didn't know they were that big because the ones they sell in tins,
Yeah, you just eat
they're
them.
tin size, right?
Yeah, and you just eat them. There's fine bones inside them, right?
Yeah.
Or do they somehow separate?
No,
No.
you just crunch those. Right
Yeah,
up.
yeah, well, you barely even feel them.
See, so I'm disappointed because I was going to ask you, did you, in the stores where they sell the tinned ones, there's a million, and I was going to ask you, did you not get like dill pickle flavored sardines?
Oh, no. We went in those.
Ketchup flavored? Or,
We went in those stores. We went in one of those stores. The taxi drivers go, I said, "Oh, look at this." While we're driving in the taxi, he goes, "Oh, yeah, they're great."
did he?
So I went in one of those stores, and it was visually appealing.
Yeah.
Like the way they've organized
Oh,
it.
yeah.
It's very colorful, and there's all these different kinds. And I have a picture of the outside. It's got all these flashing
Yeah.
lights, and everything looks.
And they're
but
all like that.
I
don't
just
know what-
wasn't going to buy sardines for what has to be double the going rate
Yeah.
from one of these stores or anything anyway. So I did my best to split out the bones. I did pretty well on the first one. I totally failed on the second one. And so that was not fun at all.
I wonder, in your time in Porto, did you go and try to buy port or sample port?
We did. We went to a place in Porto across the river.
Yeah.
The name of that town's Gaia, but it's really part of Porto. And we walk in, and it's like, so it's 39 euros for the tour and the tasting. And because we're not wine people, I wasn't too interested in doing, like, even if they showed the industrial methods, the way that
Yeah.
they do it, that's always a little bit interesting. But if I was a port drinker, I probably would have done that. But yeah, and Sue's not into that at all. So we just said, okay, thank you, and headed off for a walk.
Yeah, we, not a listener and I tried that because he is a wine, or at least a port guy. Mm-hmm. But we were super put off by their attitude, which was just, they were appalled that we hadn't got a reservation for their extremely exclusive
Oh, yeah.
blah, blah, blah. Okay,
Wow.
got to go. See ya.
And that was in Porto?
Yeah.
Really?
Right down
Okay.
in the river, across the river from the main part of Porto.
Yeah. It might have been the same place because there's several of them. There's one great big obvious one, and it's supposed to be quite good.
Yeah.
And they probably were snooty, but I was already in the frame of mind not to go if it's expensive. So
Yeah.
they didn't have a chance to poo-poo me.
I agree with you, though. Porto is much nicer than Lisbon.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Lots of good walking, scenery.
Yeah.
We did some tours. Going over both levels of that big bridge,
Yeah.
the Dom Luis I bridge.
Yeah, whatever it's called.
And then the
yes.
top one takes you to an old monastery. And yeah, like you're saying, this monastery dates before 1755, I'm pretty sure. And it's beautiful. And then we also went and saw a sunset up in the park that's near that monastery. And it was quite the experience because it was a clear night and the sunset's over the Douro River. So now you're up in this high park. You see this beautiful town and the winding river and the sunset over the end. Packed. It's just packed with people, and there's guys playing. There's music going. It's quite the experience, actually, and it didn't feel bad that it was packed because, I mean, what are you going to do? It's just packed. It's a beautiful sight, right?
Yeah, we went there just in the middle of the day, and it was just whatever.
Yeah, it's nothing special, that park, until nighttime. Yeah.
Huh. Cool.
So anyway, we love Porto, and then it was on to getting closer to the tournaments. We headed to Barcelona. And, we'd had the warnings, from various people about Barcelona hating tourists and
Squirt guns,
squirt guns, and warned about
pickpockets.
big warnings. And I tend to immediately be a little dubious about warnings because of humanity's disability to understand probabilities. So if you read about pickpockets, that means, they're everywhere. Is that true? Or does that mean that there's a lot of reports in the press about pickpockets in a city of 2 million? You know what I mean? Like, so I was opining. I was holding forth, as you might say.
Yeah.
And when I was at the tournament, one of the players was standing next to me, and I did my little opine. He said, yeah. So me and a buddy, we were on La Rambla. So this was firsthand to me hearing this. And we're all super careful with our wallets, with our bags in front of us. But we got our phones out, and this flock of girls, teens, late teens maybe, comes by and just grabs the guy's phone, and they're moving. They just move off. They head off. They're gone. His phone's gone, right? And you guys know what it's like not to have a phone, right?
Yeah.
Like, what does this mean for the rest of your vacation? Right?
Yeah.
Then they kind of circle back, and now there's masses of people between them and the girls. The girls holding up, you want your phone back? And it's for money.
Yeah.
And the guy just paid whatever they were asking, like probably 50 euros, 100 euros, something like that, like whatever. And the guy just handed the money over, got his phone back, and it was all done. But I thought this was interesting, that was triggered by me, talking about, I don't know how common it really is, I had two different cab drivers. One was a tour guide, one was a cab driver. Both of them say, there's not that many pickpockets anymore because anytime we see them, we beat them up. Both guys had the same story, right? And the first guy muttered something about foreigners. And I thought he might have said gypsy, but I just wasn't sure. So the second guy, I was now ready. He's holding forth about how they don't have the pickpockets in Porto because we beat them up. I'm going, yeah, my understanding is none of them are from Portugal. None of them. Not one of them is Portuguese.
Yeah.
Gypsies, he goes.
It's too bad. Again, the march of right-wing politics. Right?
At that point, I thought, if you're a U.S. Southerner, you're probably not quite as right-wing as some of these guys in Europe, right?
Who knows? I think there's a lot of it, though. Some of that in France, too. So.
Yeah, and this all dates back thousands of years, right? So that's kind of permanent. It's kind of like the Jews and the Muslims.
Well, they just,
kind of permanent,
it flares up and then it goes down to sizzle, but it never goes away.
Yeah.
Just...
Yeah. So
too
anyway,
bad.
But Barcelona, I guess there's not enough cab drivers. Maybe I don't know, because they certainly are prevalent there. And we stayed on La Ramblas, which is probably not the greatest place to stay, listeners. I mean, it was fine, but there's nicer places to stay because it's ultra touristy. And in our case, they were digging up the entire boulevard. La Ramblas is basically two streets with a big cafe area, a lot of plastic menus. And every single cafe has the exact same menus. I don't know if it's all owned by one person.
Like literally exact same?
Yeah, they're all the exact same. They have different cooks because they do actually cook on site. There's kitchens on site. But I think it's all kind of one big, almost like a chain. Each one has a unique name. They want you to believe it's a special, unique little place. But I had an English breakfast at one of them. It was great. Cheap.
So they carefully opened the can of beans and delicately plopped it in the middle.
Yeah, probably half a can of beans.
As opposed to just slapping it on there like you do in Britain.
And I'm going over medium, and he's looking at me with a question, about the eggs.
Yeah.
I'm going over medium, and he looks at me, huh? I go, just like a little bit more than over easy. He goes, yeah, good. So he brings the eggs, and they're like just liquid white on top, just floating around, like.
I hate eggs like that. Jeez.
So I go, and so he had thought, he explained he had thought I meant, like less cooked, right? Somehow it came across. So anyway, he took them back. They just flopped them over on the grill.
Yeah.
So he gave me the same eggs back, but they were cooked and they were fine. It was good. So anyway, we liked that. That was good. So we went there one more time for dinner, and that was when we realized how it all worked, and it was still fine. I think we had burgers or something, and then we thought as a treat we shared a Coke. And then we're checking out, and the Coke's like €6. It's just a fountain Coke for $10 Canadian.
Yeah, I failed to mention that in my little review, but food is expensive.
In general, yeah.
Found that it was quite expensive.
Yeah, because it's 1.6 Canadian dollars per euro, roughly.
Yeah.
And once you're there, what relieves your whole mind is that you just interpret the euros as dollars.
Exactly.
This one's only 8.
You just start, You sort of think, geez, $8 for a Coke's a little pricey, but it's the tourist part. No, it's actually $12.
That's right. That's right.
A lot of that, I probably wasted a lot of money as a result of failing to consider.
So Barcelona, I'll just mention a few things. Like we toured the old part of town that has the old Roman walls. And that was really cool, just walking around. There's a famous mural made up of small little paintings. So if you stand close to the mural, you can't see what it's a mural of. You have to draw way back, and suddenly you realize it's two people kissing. And that was pretty cool little sight. And then Gaudi, the rest. I'm going to say Gaudi. Should I just say Gaudi? Be done.
Sure.
With it? It's Gaudi.
I have no idea. Did the guy have a first name? I don't know. Fred? Was it Fred Gaudi?
I forget his first name.
Yeah. Albert?
Anyway, he's an amazing architect in Barcelona. Barcelona is super well known for him, and his masterpiece is the Sagrada Familia. Sagrada might mean cathedral.
I kind of doubt it, but I don't know.
And then Familia, family. I don't know. Anyway, spectacular. Have you heard about these places, Mo? Yeah. Or you been there?
No, I've been in Barcelona, but this is the one he's been building for 115 years.
Exactly. Like he started around 1870 or 1860. It was his life's work. Now he knew that this was the last thing for him to work on.
This is in Barcelona.
In Barcelona, yeah. He had already done these amazing villas, like houses right in town that were for rich people. And then they'd also have some apartments, I guess, mortgage helpers, I suppose. Amazing. Oh man, just so beautiful indoors and out. So we did a lot of that. And then the Sagrada Familia is amazing because you might have seen photos of the outside. It's just this organic, like curved surfaces like no other cathedrals in the world, like completely unique, his own thing, right? But inside's even more amazing, like all the stained glass, oranges and yellows on one side for the sunrise, blues and purples on the other for the sunset. And then, when you're close to sunrise or sunset, you're just seeing these spectacular colors spreading across the floor through those lights. Just really nice.
Is it finished?
Well, he died 20 years after he started. He walked across the street and a tram just came along and blew him away.
Is that right, eh? I didn't know that.
Yep. I guess God just didn't want him to finish it.
Well, sacrilege. All the conservatives are probably happy about that.
Yeah, I guess. Anyway, during the tour, they said, yeah, and it's going to be finished this year. And I wondered, for how many years has the tour been saying it's going to be finished this year? I don't really know. But I didn't see a lot of unfinished parts. So maybe it's it. Maybe it's finally going to be done.
I would be wondering if I was competent to notice what wasn't finished in that place. Based on the pictures I've seen of it, I don't think I could recognize finished versus
It's amazing.
And then you wonder, is it just bureaucratic funding that's finished this year? So therefore the cathedral's finished this year.
I guess.
Well, didn't he build most of it without permits? And he got to a point and the city said, you just can't do this anymore. You got to...
That sounds familiar, but
because I seem to remember like hearing this the first time. I mean, I could have been a teenager in my 20s, but there was a picture and there was all sorts of just sticks propped up with very skinny little peaks of, and little staircases that shouldn't have been there. And I just remember reading that. A long time ago, though, and then he got permission to do it. To do it right, and and they fixed a lot of things. I think I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, all that's left at this point is the tallest tower, and I think the tallest tower is for Jesus. I forgot what it's called.
It's not finished.
It's just finishing. They're building the top part of it. Now, inside the cathedral are all these columns. But they're kind of twisting and moving, not moving literally, but they look like it. And they represent trees. So it'll go up and then it'll branch out. Everything's upward, though. Those branches all go upward, and they are the supports for the entire church. And so in the tour, they say, and this one, and this one, and this one will support the tower we're just finishing now. And so outside, I'm going, well, how do they support it in the meantime? Outside, I saw a big crane. So it's just holding the top while they get it done.
While the Play-Doh hardens.
Yeah.
Because it looks like the exterior of it, the little bit I can remember, does look like it's wild. It looks like melting wax, it seems to me.
Exactly. And each side is different. For our tour, we chose which of the towers we wanted to go up. So you go up one of them. There's a little crossover, and you go back down the other. You take a few pictures. And we chose the guided tour. But then I was disappointed to see that once we started, we have our tour guide, one of like 40 operating in there at the same time. And then they hand us the little clip-on and the earbuds. And I can see the earbuds are as cheap can be, right? And then she starts talking to us. She has a super heavy accent and super tinny sound, like it's just so
it's all garbly.
Yeah, so we're like, okay, we're done with this because there's an app and the app has an audio guide. We switched over to the app and it was great. So listeners, if you do decide to go, I'd recommend the audio guide. So you just get because the audio guide, you go at whatever pace you want, you know, it says, okay, here's number 1. It explains stuff and you take your time, you soak it in, then you take a bunch of pictures and you're not in a hurry, right? Like what's the hurry? It's beautiful in there. Just stay there for 3-4 hours.
Yeah.
You know, it's amazing. Yeah. We saw, when we were looking at the Roman ruins, we saw 4 columns just in the middle of a normal building. But the columns were preserved because they were Roman. They were put up around the time Jesus Christ was born. So you're just there, right? It's just amazing.
It's crazy seeing stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's the best thing about Portugal is it's just all there. Spanish, Moors, Romans, Portuguese. It's all there.
Yeah. It's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, we were on our last day in Lisbon and we're riding a tram home from the Monument to the Discoveries. And we just glance up and there's a great big long viaduct. We had no idea.
Yeah. It's just it doesn't even get mentioned.
No.
You know, yeah. The secondary routes or tertiary routes that you follow on these bike trips.
Yep.
All this, whatever you see along there is not in the tourist main line.
Right.
It's a lot of it is super cool. And super historically meaningful.
Yeah.
But it just doesn't make the top, you know, it's not the top 5 things to do in France or whatever, or England or Portugal.
Yeah.
So I love that about those tours. You just see stuff that not many people get to see.
Also, because you're riding on secondary roads, do you find that there's all these little hamlets and you're riding into it and there's the road and the buildings are just right up against the road?
They're flush against in Portugal for sure.
Yeah.
And there's no guys with laminated menus in those little villages. No. You know, you can get food and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's from somebody who looks like they live there.
Yeah.
You know, and it looks like they're not cooking for the high and mighty at all. They're just serving food. I think I might have mentioned this in this show before, but in a lot of those little villages in Portugal, the whole village, the buildings are painted white with blue trim.
Okay.
Oh, just tons of them. And then you'll come through another village and it will be painted this sort of mustardy tan color. Mm-hmm. No, it'll be white with mustardy tan trim.
Okay.
And, you know, you kind of think, what do they have big meetings where they decide that the whole town is going to go mustardy and another one's going to go blue?
I would think that it's the local coloring agents.
Do you know what it is?
What?
It's, I believe, I hope I get this right. The blue ones are believed or proven, I'm not sure which, to provide some insect repellent quality.
Okay.
Just those colors tend to keep insects a little bit away. And the tan ones are believed, that belief has to do with evil spirits. Like if you have tan colors, you tend to drive away evil spirits.
There you go.
And so you sort of think, well, okay, if I'm going to be stranded in a town some night, it's not going to be a tan colored one. I'm going to find a blue trim town.
Yeah, I'm okay with the evil spirits. Yep. So that's Barcelona. And then Sue flew home and then I took the train to Zaragoza, which is.
So if you were going to be a crass North American, how would you pronounce it?
Zaragoza, buddy.
Oh, there you go. Thank you.
As mentioned earlier, that was the World Cup of Foosball, put on by the ITSF, the International Table Soccer Federation, out of Nantes, France. That was just an amazing experience. I was selected for the senior team to represent Canada, a team of 9 people. Tournament has a draw your partner event one day and then 3 events on the next 3 days where you're playing either singles for yourself or doubles with a partner. But then the big event is the following 2 days where you play, and one day it's the qualifiers and the team event. And then the next day is the playoffs and the team event. So I did poorly in the draw your partner, and I was largely happy with my play in the 3 individual events like singles and doubles and another form of doubles. And then in the team event, we played 4 different countries in the qualifiers: Switzerland, France, Germany, and Japan. And we played it so that our strongest players, because you can only have 6 players playing in any one match with subs. There are subs, but 6 start the match, 3 don't. So I would be in the bottom half of our team in terms of ability. And so they would put the strongest players against the weakest teams. So Japan we thought of as a weaker team. We put our stronger players against them. Germany and France, stronger teams. We put our weaker players against them.
Rationale.
When I saw them do the lineup, because I purposely avoided being on the committee to do the
call
lineups.
on your part.
When I saw it, I figured out right away what they were up to. We want to make sure we're at least middle of the pack. We don't want to lose 4 qualifiers. The idea was let's win 2 for sure, and maybe we can even pull another one out. And that way we won't be playing the number 1 team, because if you lose 4, you're going to be playing a number 1 or 2 seeded team.
Yeah.
So I kind of liked the rationale there. I played in 2 of those, and I was a spare for 2, but I didn't get called in. So I played in 2. And one of them, I feel like we should have won, and that was against France. And the problem with France is they play on Bonzini tables, which are hard to play on, but I had practiced on them. I can play on a Bonzini table, but I kind of need to set the ball up and then take my shot, or set the ball up, then take my pass, one way or the other. And you only have so many seconds on each rod to do that.
Right.
And I was the third, so I was kind of like the anchor man for singles. So there's a singles guy played first, then a doubles team, then me as singles, and then a doubles team. And so I realize when I'm starting to play that the ball is an old ball. It's not a nice new ball. And the old balls wobble, like they have lots of divots in them. It's kind of almost waxy on the surface in a way, but anyway, it's plastic. So the ball wobbles. So that's a problem because I need to set the ball up and then shoot, and setting the ball up is really hard. So I hadn't quite put it together when our first player was playing. I should have been right in there saying, and we're going to need a new ball. I didn't do that, and our first player doesn't care about new balls or not. The second team, the doubles team, they were challenged. They didn't do very well at all, and that was because Tim, our forward, is kind of the same as me. He needs time to set up the ball, and the ball was constantly rolling away and doing weird stuff. So halfway through my match, I think I was down 4-1 in terms of goals against me, 5-1 maybe, and halfway through, I asked the guy if we could substitute in a new ball. Because I think you're not supposed to start the match with an old ball. But confounding that is you're also not supposed to switch a ball once the match has started.
Yeah, I would have thought they wouldn't let you do it.
So he's looking like not happy. And I just said, this is a very old ball. We really should be playing with a new ball, and he let me switch. And then so now I'm playing with a new ball, and I'm happy with the new ball. It's starting to work better. But at some point he scores on me. I call timeout, and I turn to Eric, our captain. I say, you want to sub me out? He goes, are you kidding me? You've scored 4 out of the last 5 goals since you switched that ball. But we're all in a mode of playing one ball at a time. Eric was hammering us, one ball. You only care about this ball. You don't care about what happened. You don't care about what the score is. So that's why I had no idea that I had been doing well ever since the ball switched, because I was just playing one ball at a time. So
that's pretty good concentration.
That was kind of cool.
Yeah.
I really regret, because I feel like we might have beaten France, maybe with Tim and me playing better. And then if we had beaten France, then we'd get an even higher. Maybe we wouldn't have met the Americans in the playoffs. Because in the playoffs, we started with Japan, and then we played Austria. We're in the semifinals. We played the U.S., and the U.S. beat us. It was a good match. One of our players did really well. He was up 10-7 at the very beginning of the match against these pretty good singles players. But then the Americans are a really strong team. And we're playing on their table, which is also our table, so there's none of this Bonzini stuff going on. And they're super strong on their home table. So anyway, we lost to them, and then we played in the bronze medal match against the Netherlands. And that went very well. I think the singles player was up a bit. The doubles players were up a bit. Then I played in the third, and I was up 10-8. Which is pretty good. So that meant by the time our doubles players got there was no way they were going to lose. And it's our strongest team. Although they didn't play all that well, it didn't matter at that point. So we beat the Netherlands, and we got the bronze medal.
Bringing it home for the country.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that.
Look at that.
Holy doodles. Copa del Mundo de Football in Zaragoza. Well done, RJ. Well done. Now, when you said doubles, you never played doubles with somebody from another country on your team? No. Okay.
Only in the Draw Your Partner. which is a separate event at the very beginning. It's really almost a social event.
Oh, okay.
You get some practice time in on all these different tables, but you're also meeting people from all over the world.
Yeah.
And that was one of the coolest things, was just meeting all these people. I mean, good thing for us is that most people can speak English, but oh my God, there are 1,300 players there.
So there's younger teams too, right? There
are young teams. There's under 12, under 16.
Holy shit.
And then I think I think it might be 16 and under. And then if you're 17 and older, you're going to have to play with the adults. There's wheelchair teams, and the wheelchair tables are going constantly. Like, there's lots of people playing. The kids are just a riot to watch them play, because they're all, every time a goal gets scored, especially the Chinese kids, yeah, they're all just yelling, just one goal, doesn't matter which goal. You know, you could be up 4-1 and you score 3-1 and you score a fourth goal, and there's still going to be, it's just huge. And I watched this really fun match, the Poland kids against the Chinese kids. And the Chinese kids got their team, it's doubles, and they got a whole bunch of other kids standing around watching and excited. You got the Polish kids, and the youngest, the forward on the Polish team was short enough that he would pull over a platform and stand on it to play forward. And that kid was just like, when he scored, and he was pretty good too, when he scored, he would high five his partner, grab the foosball rod and just throw it. Doom, 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 doom. You know, like all these celebration things, in your face type stuff. And at one point, the ball flew off the table. And in the foosball rules, you can't take that moment to switch the forward to the goalie and the goalie up to the forward. You can only switch between balls when the ball's been scored or during a timeout. So anyway, the ball flew off the table. The two Chinese kids switched, and this Polish kid just started berating them in Polish. And you get the gist of what he's talking about, but nobody, and he's pointing at the two guys, and he's switch and all this stuff, and he just storms off all of a sudden. And more about him, we all thought it was a she, because he has this beautiful long hair and a really pretty face. And that made it even more remarkable. It's just like all this aggression from what looked like we thought was a little girl, right? What happened, I found out the next day, because I wanted to know what happened. So I found a Polish guy who had pretty poor English, but, he's talking to me, and he's just all incensed about that match. This is an adult, right?
Yeah.
He's not on, but he said, what happened? I pieced it all together. What happened was the Chinese kids were also shouting out during play, which you're not supposed to do. So it should only be after a goal or during a timeout or whatever.
Yeah.
So one of the Polish coaches went over to the other side of the table and started pointing at the Chinese kids and doing shh and keep it down and motions like that. Well, the Chinese coach was just incensed that this other coach would be talking directly to the children and not to him.
Yeah.
So it's just like all those, soccer games you watch when there's always some dad on the sidelines who's just angry. And so apparently what happened was the Polish team won, and then the Federation guys said, nope, we're taking that win away, and you'll have to have a rematch.
Why?
Well, because the Polish guys won, but they had a parent over harassing the children.
Oh, wow.
And in punishment for that, they said, we're taking your win away, and you got to play again. And the Chinese team won after they played again.
Wow.
So, which I thought was great. The excitement levels are just amazing there. Like, not just the kids, a lot of the teams, especially the women's teams, will have these crazy chants as they're starting a match.
Oh, yeah.
They'll get in a huddle, they'll all put together, and they'll just start. The Japanese team has a drum, and they're just banging, and there's all this stuff going on. We're just the Canadian team. We're a little bit reserved,
Oops, sorry.
for our bronze medal match. Eric had us all come in, and he goes, "Okay, guys, 1, 2, 3. Okay, now." And then we all did it. Oh, it was just quite funny.
That's funny.
Yeah. Sue follows along, so she knows how to see how we're doing, and she'd go into my record, and it actually tells you how many games I've won personally, just me, not the whole Canadian team. There's that as well. One loss, how many goals I've scored versus goals scored on me, and all that kind of stats stuff. And where I got to in each, and I got to the top third in a couple events and around the halfway mark at another event individually. And then Team Canada as a whole, We got bronze, and we are the first Canadian team of any of the teams, women, seniors, or men's, to ever get a medal. So we're the first. Yeah, we were really pleased with that. Yeah.
So is there an ITSF Hall of Fame, Canadian Hall of Fame?
Well, there's a Canadian Foosball Hall of Fame.
There you go. You're going to be in it.
Not me personally. No, I wouldn't think so.
I would think your team would be.
Well,
in
the
it.
team. Yeah, maybe they should give us a little, the
They
entire
should.
team. Yeah,
first,
that'd be cool.
First medal. I mean, yeah.
Come
that's-
on.
Well, no, but seriously,
course.
I'm not even kidding, really. Like, if you have
agree
a
with
Hall
you.
of Fame, like, I could certainly be convinced to joke about whether Canadian foosball should have a Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
It seems a little oxymoronic
Ouch.
to me.
And Eric,
But if you have one, the guys that won the first ever medal should definitely be in it.
Definitely.
and our captain's Eric Dunn from Victoria, and our coach was Tim Dudra from Vancouver, and they both did great job. They both kind of chaired the lineup committee, the roster committee. They both, and I helped a little bit in getting the terms of reference for the team, like why are we in this? What are we trying to achieve?
Yeah.
You know, things like we will guarantee every player 2 matches in the team event, because Eric was saying, I see this not just for now, but for also future. So let's grow the team. Let's make sure we all get experience, that kind of thing. So our captain called a ref on the Netherlands guys. So some of the other guys on our team felt bad for them because it was clear that we were going to beat them anyway.
Yeah.
But, you know, Eric's focus is every goal counts. Let's just not fool around.
Well,
And so the
yeah.
the goalie took too long, so Eric just called a ref, which was fine. I didn't see anything wrong with that. But anyway, they bought a round for the Netherlands guys after the match was over, and then the Netherlands guys bought the next 4 or 5 rounds, and I came to the table, and they were all fun, but everybody was just flying high.
yeah, but see, I think that's really square. I think that's how you do it.
Yeah.
You got the rules, play by the rules.
Play
You're
by
not
the
trying to be a
rules.
jerk about it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just play
I
by the
have
rules.
to play this way, so there we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, all that celebration stuff and in-your-face stuff, that's where you start being a jerk. But
Yeah.
if you're just playing by the rules, no. I think
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
fine.
There's different social norms about that as
Yeah,
well.
evidently, yeah.
Yeah, like some of our players throw the rod after they score a goal.
Yeah.
And what's weird about it is, you know, human reaction time is, they say it's 0.2 seconds. You see something, you can start your move 0.2 seconds later, which in foosball is a long time. But the weird thing is, when you score, these guys score and throw the rod all in one
Yeah.
motion.
Yeah.
And for the most part, if they miss, they don't throw the rod. So how did that work? And I think part of it is
That's
that
pretty
that 0.2 seconds reaction time is visual. Like, you got the light speed to your eye, which is instant. You got your eye doing all the refractions. I believe that's instant. Then you have some kind of thing transferring that to electrical energy. And that electrical energy then has to send it to the brain. And then the brain has to kind of start doing the calculations.
Yeah.
And then it has to send the signal down to your arm to react, right?
Yeah.
But my belief is that when you hear a sound, you can react instantly. Like, think about it when someone comes up behind you and claps their hands loud right behind your head, boom, you move. Like, it's not boom, move. It's just instant. So I think the
goal hitting the back of the...
yeah, the goal hits the back, and I guess the ear is faster at processing, even though there's some stuff going on there too. That's just my theory.
Yeah, I was
like
going to
it.
guess that the guy, when he releases the ball, he can see that it's going in.
Yeah.
He knows when he releases it.
I think that's a good alternate theory, because when you're shooting, sometimes you just know it's going to go in, and you know the guy's nowhere near it.
Yeah.
So that might have a lot to do with it. We have one player locally who does it and he misses.
Yeah.
And I've told him, I'm going to call you if you miss and then the ball rattles in the goal. I'm going to call you on, there's 2 things to call on, a jar and a distraction, both of them.
Yeah, I think it is the guy sees the hole and he knows the goalie's beat. He knows the goalie's beat before he even releases the
That
ball.
might be it. But I emphasize,
swing and a
if
miss
someone
thing.
comes up and shouts in your ear,
Yeah.
you don't hesitate for 0.2 seconds. It's just an instant jump.
Yeah, I don't know. Still, bronze, pretty cool.
Bronze is
Pretty
very cool. We were very happy. My regret is that we might have gotten a silver, because we might have met the U.S. in the finals instead of the semifinals. If I had thought to put a brand new ball on the table for that France match. But we were playing the Americans, and our first guy had us up, I think, 10-7, maybe.
That's what you said.
Yeah, he played against two different guys. They subbed out the first guy, who's a respected senior player, and they subbed in a bar player named Dan Barber. He's kind of like a trash talker guy.
Oh, yeah.
And he hits bank shots, and he hits all kinds of, trickery, deception, and kind of also tries to get inside your head. And he was of everybody we played, he was the only one that ever did that in the entire World Cup. Our guy, Kent from Calgary, Kent was the one that was way up on Greg. And then they subbed in Dan Barber, and he is still doing well against Dan Barber. And then Barber scores a really nice bank shot from the back, and he says, "You're getting tired, old man." And Kent just looks at him. He says, "I'm just getting started." And he scores the next 3 goals to finish it. And it was just so awesome because you feel really good when that kind of thing happens.
No kidding.
Yeah.
No kidding. Yeah.
Yeah, but then by the third leg, singles Todd Lafredo, he's been a famous player since 1976 or so. And he's not even 63 yet. So he's playing seniors now. And he was hard. And I was going to get subbed in. Eric goes, "Do you want to play against Todd?" And I go, "Sure." But then all of a sudden our guy scored the next 2 goals. So by that point, he finished his leg. And because if I was on fire, I could give Todd a really good run because I know his game, he doesn't know mine. And like a lot of people who are not high-end players, I can play high-end once in a while. Like it's a big range of, I can really, when I'm bad, I really suck. When I'm good, I can play really well. I can do all kinds of surprise shots and stuff that he wouldn't be able to adapt to fast enough. So I would have liked to have had a chance.
Well, that's what they say about the pros. The biggest thing is consistency in any sport.
Exactly.
Well, don't know. I don't know if you have more.
Well, I'll be 71 when they hold the next World Cup.
Yeah.
Sue is reading that you don't age in a linear fashion.
Nope, you don't.
She says there's 4 aging points. And supposedly our next one is 78. So who knows? Maybe I'll still be playing
78? That's great.
Yeah, isn't that great? That's when you become
true.
All fossilized. Yeah.
Well, I hope that's true because then, that's good.
There's still time.
There, we're done. I hope that was an earful, a happy earful, a useful earful, an interesting earful, one that makes you write letters or just send money. That's a good alternative if you don't really feel like writing letters. We appreciate you playing along. We'll keep playing. You keep listening. Talk to you soon.